welcome to your English news broadcast live from our headquarters at ERi-TV at Asmara. I am Zahra Badouri, but first we'll begin with your major headlines for this broadcast. Vocational training to youth in Ad-Dukhala. An announcement from the Ministry of Health. And on your international, UN costs of food rise at fastest price in over a decade. China's CAS space to develop powerful, solid, promptant rocket. Welcome to your domestic in brief. 3 months vocational training has been organized to 100 youth in Ad-Dukhala subzone. Speaking at the graduation event on 27th May, Mr. Jamal Noor, head of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students branch, said that the training program was in continuation of the sustainable training program being provided to the youth in the subzone and called on the trainees to apply the training they received in improving their livelihoods. Commanding the initiative, the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students is taking to develop the capacity of the youth. Mr. Anda Mikhail Adhanom, administrator of the subzone, called on the youth in the subzone to take advantage of the opportunities provided. At the event, outstanding students that scored high points in the eighth grade national examination were handed over with the Indemso Award. On your health report, 245 patients have been diagnosed positive for COVID-19 in tests carried out today at quarantine centers in the OPD services in the northern Red Sea region and central regions. Out of these, 150 patients are from quarantine centers and OPD services in the northern Red Sea region. The other 95 patients are from quarantine centers and OPD services in Asmara central region. On the other hand, 34 patients who have been receiving medical treatment in hospitals in the central region, 25 people, and northern Red Sea region, 9 in the regions, have recovered fully and have been discharged from these facilities. The total number of recovered patients to date has accordingly risen to 3,894, while the number of deaths is still standing at 14. The total number of confirmed cases in the country to date has increased to 4,427. Ministry of Health, Asmara, June 4th, 2021. On your final domestic, commendable progress has been registered in social services provision in Sha'b subzone. According to Mr. Jabir Muhammad Noor, head of the social services in the subzone, in the past 30 years of independence, the number of social services provision institutions has been steadily growing, and that to date there are 23 educational institutions and 1 health center in rendering commendable service. Regarding infrastructural development, Mr. Jabir said that mobile telephone services has been put in place. Asphalt road linking Gahtela Sha'b of Abat has been constructed, and potable water supply as well as 2 agricultural projects in Laba and Mai Ulan has been put in place. Sha'b subzone comprising 8 administrative areas and residence to over 54,000 people and borders with the subzone of Ginda of Abat, Galab and the Red Sea. Up next with your international news after the short break. Stay tuned. And on your global report, global food prices have jumped at their fastest monthly rate in over a decade, according to the United Nations. The UN uses a broad index of global food costs, which have also climbed for 12 months in a row. Suppliers have been affected by the disruption to production, labor, and transportation during this pandemic. Concerns are growing about broader inflations, however, and how higher grocery bills will impact the world's economic recovery. The UN Food and Agricultural Organization FAO food prices index trackers in prices around the world of a range of food, including cereals, outseeds dairy products, meat, and sugar. On an annual basis, food prices were up to 39.7% in May, the biggest month-on-month gain since October 2010. All five components of the index rose, led by the surging of cost of vegetables, oils, grains, and sugar. That pushes the index up to its highest overall level since September 2011. On your final reports, the Chinese rocket company CAS Space started to develop what is expected will be, in quotation, the world's most powerful solid propellant carrier rocket. The company's chairman told a Chinese Daily Report. Yang Yikang, a senior rocket scientist and founder of the CAS Space, told China Daily in an exclusive interview this week that the rocket ZK-2 is in the research and development stage at laboratories in Beijing and will be ready for its depart flight before the end of 2022. CAS is being in Beijing and owned by the Chinese Academy of Sciences. The ZK-2 will have a core stage and two sides boosters, each of which will have a diameter of 2.65 meters using solid propellants, China Daily reported. The rocket will be 39.7 meters, however, tall and have a left-off weight of 343 metric tons. It will be able to transport satellites with a combined weight of 3.55 tons to a sun-synchronous orbit 700 kilometers above Earth, the newspaper reported. Dear viewers, that is all for now with your domestic and international news in brief. Until we're back with some more news, stay and enjoy the rest of our programs. But until then, these were your top headlines for this broadcast. Vocational training to youth in Adukhala. An announcement from the Ministry of Health and Commandable Social Services provision in your domestic. And on your international, UN costs of food rise at fastest pace in over a decade. China's CAS Space to develop powerful solid propellant rocket, and that is all.